Got my Panini thinking cap on today. Had an idea for what I think would be real innovation in sports card collecting. Okay. Now, look, I'll be honest, I am no artist. Okay. So you're going to look at my little diagram here. Okay. I'm going to try to walk you through the diagram here. I'm talking to you reverse as well. Okay. These are players. The idea is here's a picture looking down a court. Okay. And a player on a court can do a lot of different things. So you take picture of a player dribbling or running with the ball. That's his base card. That's his very common card, right? Another thing a player will do, he'll pass. So have a photo of a player passing, same player passing. This becomes a different color card, different parallel. Maybe he's numbered to 100. But again, it's an offensive position. Dribbling, he's running, passing, right? And you have passing over here. I have an S. This is player shooting. This is going to be less, right? Maybe there's only 20, 100, or 50 of these. I don't know. Maybe there's more. But again, you're paralleling player. Here he is, passing. Here he is shooting, and you can have, the shooting picture, or you could have him going in. And here's the thing: if he goes in for a dunk, right? It's a dunk, then it's a gold, right? It's limited to 10. Maybe it's short print, right? If he blocks it, we have a block right here. That's defensive. Maybe that's short print. Maybe you have you have an offensive series of things a player can do, and you have defensive, right? Because you have defensive block and you have defensive steal. Maybe the steal and the block become short prints. Or maybe based on the player, maybe they become the number to 10, right? Maybe like Embiid has 10, number 10 gold cards that are all blocks. It's the same block. But my idea here, guys, is that instead of having one picture, one player, and it's just the color changes in the background, number changes, have there be 5 or 6 pictures of the player that if put together, right? If you lay these pictures together, the number to 100, the number to 199, if you layer them all together, they make a picture of your player. That'd be kind of cool. I mean, think about that, right? So, like, and this would create so much more player collection, right? Because you don't have to collect the vets and the stars, right? You could collect just your favorite player in the town, right? And kids could chase this stuff, right? Because maybe you make a book that you track at home, and you're like, well, I got to get this one, I got to get one of these, and maybe you have different color variation. Maybe Fast Break has several of the ones that are steals, right, or passes. So if I'm filling out my 5 action items a person can do, right? Because they can run, they can pass, they can steal, they can shoot, they can dunk, and they can block. So that's what 6 positions they could do potentially. You could short print them, you could lay them in mosaic. And then here's another cool thing. Maybe you could lay them in teams, right? So maybe if you did it right with the pictures and camera, maybe you create your own team, where maybe your passing player is your point guard. He's passing to your shooter on your team, right? But you're an OKC fan. But think of how much more creativity would be in this model, which is a very ugly stick man, guys. But look, first of all, I love your feedback. I mentioned this to somebody else. Like, I forget who it was, a card guy. I was looking at cards, like, to build a set where, again, you have 5 different variations of the player, but one is him, running with the ball, one stealing and passing. I just think it'd be better to do it where you could blend the different players. You can make teams. Um, and this isn't super innovative, because I have seen puzzle pieces in the past, in the 80s and 90s. This wasn't the 80s. It wasn't clearly not the 80s in basketball. It was the 90s. But I'm thinking today, I'd love to see a company do that. Um, I'd like to see any sport, to be honest with you, because you can do it in football, basketball, lacrosse. What are your thoughts? Comments, like, subscribe. Let's roll with this one. This is what we need more. But I'll tell you real quickly. This was inspired by listening to Danny Black and John Newman over on Card Menches, talking about if they could create the perfect set. And you just may be thinking, it's not the perfect set. I want more creativity. Like, let's not just recycle acetate and use the same stuff over, and RPA this and RPA that. Um, let's really, I mean, I got some great ideas for relics, but let's just start with, I think, again, this model here. I'd love your opinion, thoughts, comments, feedback. There's a real artist out there. Tell me what you think. Come on, can't be that bad.